Guys, am I audible?
Yes, Dinesh.
Okay. So our today discussion, we are going to start another tool from your DevOps, which is nothing but Ansible. I hope you remembered I have covered two tools so far with respect to your DevOps, which is Git and Jenkins we have covered. Git is source code management tool or version control system. But if I talk about the Jenkins, it's a CI/CD tool, continuous integration and continuous deployment tool that we already know. And we have done the pipeline also, how to work with the pipeline as a code, that also we have completed. Now, this is one of the, again, another one of the important tool, which is from your DevOps, which is Ansible. So
Jenkins is finished, right?
yes, Jenkins is completed. We have completed.
Okay.
But the deployment part, by integrating with the Docker, when I cover the Docker, we will once again back to Jenkins and we will do the deployment and all. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So now the question is, what is Ansible? What do you mean by Ansible? Does anyone have any idea on this? Ansible? Jenkins is a CI/CD tool, whereas the Git is the source code or version control system. What do you understand from the Ansible? What is the purpose of Ansible? So Ansible, before understanding the Ansible, so what is this one, guys? What is this one? Or this one? What is this one? So which is infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code. So did you remember in AWS, we have completed infrastructure as a code? Where did we complete?
Cloud formation.
Exactly. So we have completed in the cloud formation, where I have done the infrastructure as a code. Guys, remember, whenever we use a computer, right, we need a certain things like operating system, memory, hard drive, and a network connectivity to work properly, right? Because without a operating system or memory or a hard drive or network connectivity, we cannot work properly. Similarly, when the business, they build the website, they also need this thing, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, code is required.
Guys, are you getting? No one is answering. Fine. Remember, traditionally to set up these things, right? I said a memory, operating system, hard drive, and network connectivity. So that and all in traditionally, maybe back in the days, to set up those things, there is a role called system administrator. You know or not, I'm not sure. But in every IT company back in the days, maybe 5 years or 10 years back, there is a role called a system administrator. So what system administrator will do, manually, manually, he will configure all this component, whatever the hardware component that I mentioned, right? All the component individually he will configure. But what is the problem? What is the problem? It is a time consumption. Manually, if you configure everything, operating system, hardware, and network connectivity for a single system, it will take a long, right? It will take a long time consumption job. And along with that, error also will be prone, right? Maybe there will be a prone to failure. And definitely, if there is a problem, it is very difficult to reproduce also, guys. Difficult to reproduce. So these are the problem, generally, as a system administrator, he faced a problem. Whenever if you want to make some infrastructure or make a website, he has to concentrate on everything. But everything he has to manually have to configure. So this is where problem starts for a system administrator. Because back in the day, the system administrator in the company, that he has to manage the entire system. So he has to manage the infrastructure. Say suppose if you have 100 or 1000 server, consider like suppose we have 1000 servers. For this 1000 server, he has to manage the operating system. He has to manage entire network connectivity, and storage part he has to take care. Suppose if you want to create some account, adding a user, deleting a user, everything, giving the permission, installing the software, everything he has to take care. But again, for that, the company, they have hired the system administrator. He is good in bash scripting. You know or not, I'm sure. Again, we have a scripting called bash scripting. It is one of the scripting language. Basically, he will write some piece of code to perform all this kind of activity with the help of your automation. The automation, he will write the code with the help of your bash scripting, and he will perform everything in the automated way. But what is the problem with this one, right? Bash scripting, it is very complex. It is very difficult to understand bash scripting. And along with that, it is very difficult, to manage also. To manage this bash code, right? It is very difficult. As a system administrator, you should learn the scripting first, and then using this bash scripting, we can make this kind of, operation we can able to perform. But can we able to create the whole infrastructure, if you ask me? Can we able to build our whole infrastructure? No. With the simple bash scripting, we cannot make the whole complex infrastructure. That's the reason there is a concept coming to the IT market, which is nothing but infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code. Initially, back in the days, system administrator has to perform all these tasks either by manually. But suppose if he is doing for 100 or thousands of machines, he will go for bash scripting. But bash scripting itself, it is very difficult to understand, and it is very difficult to manage also. And using the bash scripting itself, we cannot make the complete infrastructure. So that's the reason company, they introduced a new term called this one, which is infrastructure as a code. So remember, there is a role called system administrator in the initial days. He has to install and configure and maintaining the operating system and software application and hardware component. And he has to monitor, he has to manage the user account, he has to manage the permission, everything, security, everything he has to take care. It is very difficult, right? Manually, if we do those things. And along with that, someone will tell, right, hey, can we go for automation, right? System administrator also did the automation. How? With the help of a bash scripting. He basically, write the code. Suppose if you are using the Linux machine or Mac operating system, we can use the bash script to automate the routine task like backup or software installation or user account management, everything we can able to do. But the problem is, bash scripting, it is complex to understand. It is very difficult to write. And also it is not possible, may not work on all the system. So bash scripting, it is for Linux or Mac operating system. But sometimes, it will not work for Mac or Windows. Mostly it will work for only for Linux. It will not work for Mac or Windows. Again, it will be a problem, right? And it is very difficult to troubleshoot also if there is a failure. So that's the reason a market come into the word, a new word called infrastructure as a code. It means that we are going to build our own infrastructure by writing some code. That's nothing but infrastructure as a code. So am I clear, guys, with respect to what is the problem a system administrator they faced? Am I clear? I need a quick confirmation. Yes. Okay. So what is infrastructure as a code? What is infrastructure as a code? So basically, here we are going to create a virtualized, maybe I can say virtualized resources, like maybe a server or maybe a storage or networking, everything virtually we are going to create. For that, we are going to write some piece of code. So basically, infrastructure as a service is it's a It's a cloud computing service that provides, virtually we can able to create a server, storage and networking and all. So with the help of this infrastructure as a service, we can do three things, guys. Remember, we can do three things. There are three key categories that are related to managing these resources, right? So if you want to manage these particular resources, we have to focus. One is provisioning. One is called provisioning. And second one is server template. Server template. The third one is configuration management. Configuration management. So we are writing some piece of code in order to manage your resources. That is nothing but infrastructure as a code service. Now the question is, where we are going to apply this infrastructure as a code service? Whether is it related to the provisioning? Is it related to the server template or configuration management? So what do you understand from the provisioning? Provisioning. What is provisioning? Creating. Okay, provisioning, creating, correct. What is, guys? What do you understand from the provisioning? So remember, provisioning means build the infrastructure from scratch. Building the infrastructure from the scratch. It means that we basically create the infrastructure. We will do the configuration also, and we will deploy the VMs, deploy the virtual machines, everything. Maybe deploy the VMs and the storage and all other, computing, all resources. It means that we are building our own infrastructure from the scratch. How we can done this? Maybe we can done with the help of some web interface. We can use some web interface to do this one, or we can use some API also, or we can use some CLI, command line interface. Using this, we are going to build our own infrastructure from the scratch. Creating a VM, configuring a VM, storage, network connectivity, security, everything we are going to configure from the scratch. So we have some examples like Terraform and CloudFormation, right? CloudFormation is only for AWS. Terraform, it is for all AWS, for all the cloud provider. So we have these two tools, Terraform and CloudFormation. This is a provisioning tool from the infrastructure as a code. From the infrastructure as a code, we have a provisioning, right? This provisioning, which is given by the Terraform and CloudFormation. Using the Terraform and CloudFormation, you can make your own infrastructure. Your own infrastructure, the entire infrastructure, you can build it from the scratch. Anyway, I'm going to cover the Terraform later, but you should remember. And what is the next term? Server template. Server template means already we have a pre-configured image, guys. Already we have a pre-configured image. Maybe already some VM image are available. This portion I'm going to cover in the topic called Docker. In Docker, we have many images. Did you remember AMI? Amazon Machine Image. What basically AMI will take care? AMI will take care about the operating system. It will take care about the hardware. Sorry, it will take care about the software part, right? Not hardware part, software part, operating system. And along with what are the software that we require. Everything it will be taken care by your AMI. In the same way, using the Docker, we can able to create that image. That image we can call it as a pre-configured image or user configured image. This template, this server template, it will have all the details like operating system, software package and settings, everything it have. Thereby it will save our time and effort when deploying any new VM. That time you don't need to create anything from the scratch. You can use that image and simply you can deploy it on some server. That anyway we are going to cover on the topic of Docker. So Docker is an example for server template. So here we already have a predefined image. That image has the operating system and the hardware and all the settings. We are just going to use that particular image and we are going to deploy it. That's it. So this is very straightforward. It is a pre-configured one. Are you clear with what is provisioning, what is server template? Can you confirm?
Yeah, then.
What is the third one? The third one is configuration management. Configuration management means it refers like we are going to managing and maintaining the configuration settings of your VM and maybe other AWS services also, other computing service. I can give like this, other computing services. So whatever the services that we are getting, right, all those services, if you want to manage and maintain, you have to go for this configuration management. So what is settings? Settings refers maybe a software version I want to maintain. Security, I want to maintain. Network configuration, I want to maintain. Storage, I want to maintain. Everything. If you want to maintain all those settings, right, you have to go for configuration management tools that will manage and maintain your settings. When I say settings, storage, security, software installation, network configuration, everything it depends. Everything we are going to maintain. It means that already we have an infrastructure. Already we made an infrastructure. Infrastructure is already available. What we are going to do? When the load is increased or when the load is decreased, we have to maintain our servers. We have to maintain our security. We have to maintain our storage part. How we are going to maintain? With help of a configuration management tool. Example, we have an Ansible. Ansible is one example. Shift is one example. Puppet is a one tool available in the market. Salt Stack is another tool available in the market. These tools are specifically used for configuration management. It means that we are going to maintain and manage our virtual machine or any AWS resources or any services that we are getting from the cloud provider. Right? So infrastructure as a code, it is a terminology which will refer, we are going to write some piece of code that is going to maintain our whole infrastructure. But what kind of different activity that basically we need in the real time? Sometime I need to create the framework or I need to build my infrastructure from the scratch. That refers provisioning. Sometime I have to, already I have a pre-configured images, only I am going to deploy it somewhere. Go for the server template. Or I need only the configuration management. Already I have an infrastructure. I don't want to build the infrastructure. I just need to do the configuration management. It means that I have to maintain and manage my software settings. Then it is better to go for configuration management. Do we use all of them? Yes. In the real time, suppose if you are joining a new company, maybe if you are joining a new project, that time if they are going to create their infrastructure from the scratch, yes, of course you have to do the provisioning. Of course, sometime, if we have already have the images that you are going to deploy, in that case, you have to go for server template. Suppose a company already they have started, the project also already started, they have done the provisioning, everything they have completed, only they are doing the configuration management. Then you have to integrate this Ansible and you have to see the alarm, you have to play the administrator kind of role. It is all based on the company. Do we have to learn all of those tools? No, not required, Aman. If you are good in one tool, that's enough. So leader in the market, which is Ansible. If you learn Ansible, HF and Puppet, you don't need to worry. Because all other tools, only UI is different. All the tasks or maybe the job that we are performing, all are same. So only learn the Ansible. Not required to learn the Chef and Puppet and all. Based on your, a new company, you can align accordingly. Because there are thousands of tools are available. We cannot learn every tool. Only the top, the company they are using Ansible, that you can learn it. So infrastructure as a code, right? In that, we have these three key categories: provisioning, server template, configuration management. So these three categories of infrastructure as a code, related to the key task involved in maintaining and managing the virtualized computer resource in the cloud. Any question? Quickly confirm. Are you clear with what is the problem that faced by the administrator, system administrator, and what is the infrastructure as a code, and what is the three key category in infrastructure as a code? What is provisioning? What is server template? What is configuration management? Any question on this? Configuration management is once the system, once the infrastructure is ready, then we will basically manage and maintain the versions. Once the system is ready. Guys, quickly tell me. No, sorry, in copy management. What is that? Configuration management, right? I said, right, in configuration management, we have to perform the different kind of operation, like maintaining the software version. Sometime I need to install the software. Sometime I have to create the user account, or I need to delete the account. I need to give the permission. Everything I can able to do with the help of this Ansible. That's what we are going to learn. Configuration means system configuration. That we are going to manage with the help of a tool called Ansible. Right. So quickly I will talk about a few history behind your Ansible, guys. Remember, Ansible came into the market in the year of 2000, I think 12. Ansible was created in 2012, and which is created by Michael Degan, right? That's the guy, right? This guy, Michael Degan, he has created this Ansible. So Ansible, why the company they are going for Ansible? If you ask me, Ansible is a agentless software, guys. What is this agentless software? I will tell you in few minutes. Wait, but as of now, remember, Ansible uses this agentless software, agentless architecture, we can call on this. It is an agentless architecture. And Ansible is purely based on Python. What is the core language of Ansible? Python. What's the core language of Jenkins, guys? Can someone tell me? What's the core language of Jenkins?
Java.
Java. In the same way, in Ansible, they have used the core language called Python modules, Python. And we have other tools also, right? Say we have a Puppet. One of the oldest tool. Puppet is the oldest tool. So which came into the market in the year of 2005. Puppet was created in 2005. Which one of the, first configuration management tool, I can say. So using the Puppet also, we can define the desired state of the infrastructure, right? Using some simple languages and all. But this is oldest tool which came into the market in the year of 2005. But Ansible came into the market in the year of 2012. And then, we have a tool called Chef. Chef is also one of the oldest tool. It came into the market in the year of 2009. 2009, we got this tool, which is Chef. And apart from this, one of the latest tool, which is Salt, right? Salt. It is very active in the year of 2018 only, but which came into the market in the year of 2011 actually. 2011 it came, but it is very active in the year of 2018. And nowadays, the company, they are using the Salt Stack also. Short by Salt Stack, right? But most of the company, they are using the Ansible. So if you want to understand Ansible, Puppet, Chef, Salt, all are configuration management tool. But this four tool, it is differed between this agent versus agentless. What is this agent software or agent architecture? And what is this agentless architecture? What is agent and what is agentless architecture? To understand this one, let me go for another topic, which is called push-based mechanism versus pull-based mechanism. There are two mechanisms you need to understand. What is push-based and what is pull-based? What is push-based and what is pull-based mechanism? Guys, did you remember master and slave architecture? I hope you remembered on Jenkins master-slave architecture. Master?
Yes, Dinesh.
Yes, master-slave architecture. Can you quickly confirm where you have installed Java? In master machine or slave machine? Where you have installed Java?
Master machine.
Master machine. In Java, did we install in the slave?
No.
Sure.
Yes, no.
Are you sure?
Yes, we have not installed.
No. We have installed Java in both the machine. Jenkins only we have installed on master machine. Slave machine, we didn't install the Jenkins. Is that right or not?
Yes, Jenkins we have not. Yes.
Yes. Java we have installed in both the machine. Am I right? Jenkins we have installed on master, but Jenkins is not available in the slave machine. Only we have created the user. Right. So push-based mechanism, where we have an example, two tools. One is Ansible and another one is Salt. Salt stack. Salt stack and Ansible is an example for push-based mechanism. For pull-based mechanism, what is the example? Chef and Puppet. Chef and Puppet. Why? Why? So in push-based mechanism, it is called as agentless tool, guys. When I say agentless tool, what is it refer? In slave machine, you no need to install a agent. Only in master machine, you can install the agent. In slave machine, you no need to install the agent. As like Jenkins. But if you go with the pull-based mechanism, right? Here, you have to install that particular software or that particular agent in both the machine. In master and also slave. In master and slave. As of now, you remember like this. Practically, when we discuss, I will tell you. Remember, what is the difference between push-based mechanism and pull-based mechanism? Push-based mechanism, it is an example for agentless tool. It means that, suppose, if you take Ansible is the master server. We have one Ansible server. Consider this is a master server. And we have a remote server also. We have a remote server, which is called a slave server or slave machine. Suppose you have one software that you can install only on Ansible server. You no need to install on remote server. It means that here we no softwares. No software is running. But here you have to run the software. That's nothing but push-based mechanism. Push-based mechanism. But if you go with the pull-based mechanism, in master server also you have to install the software. In slave server also you have to install the software. That is nothing but agent-based software. So far, are you clear? Yes, sir.
Yes, Dinesh.
I will give you an example. Let's say you want to deploy a new version of web application across a large number of servers. Say I have let me take a 50 servers. I have a 50 servers. In this 50 servers, I want to deploy a new version. Already 1.0 is running. Already 1.0 is running on all the 50 machine. Now I'm going to add some feature, which is maybe a converter into another version called 1.1 version. Now what I need to do, I want to deploy this a new version of a web application across this 50 server. So with a push-based configuration management tool like Ansible, we basically what we will do, we have to write a script that defines the necessary configuration changes and then push those changes out to the target machine. So whatever the changes that we have written, right, with help of Ansible and Python script, and then we have to push those changes to the target machine. So the target machine would then apply those changes and update the application to the new version. This is what happening on your push-based mechanism. But the same operation if you do on the pull. Suppose we have a puppet. We have a puppet. Here, what basically we will do on the target machine, we have to periodically check, like with the puppet master, to see if there are any changes that need to be applied. If there are, target machine would pull the necessary update, we have to apply them. So this is the basic difference between push and pull. So in pull also, we have to install the software and then we have to update those changes. But if you go with the push, when you install it on the master, automatically it will be reflected on the slave machine. Are you getting my point? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Everyone, can you quickly confirm?
Yes, Dinesh.
So remember, in push-based configuration, what will happen? The configuration management tool, right, that we are using, which is Ansible, that will initiate the deployment of the changes to the infrastructure. It means that this tool, Ansible tool, pushes out all the necessary changes to the target machine. And the target machine are responsible for applying those changes. So which is an example of Ansible. But if you go with the pull-based mechanism, here who is responsible? The target machines are responsible for pulling the changes. He has to pull from there. He has to pull the changes from the configuration management tool. The configuration management tool then publish the changes, and the target machine periodically check with the tool, like whether it got applied or not, it has to check it. So push-based means master to slave. Pull-based means slave has to pull the changes from the master. Slave has to check, is there any changes on the master? But in push-based mechanism, if there are changes on the master, automatically it will be reflected on the slave machine. But in pull-based mechanism, who has to check? The slave has to check, is there any changes on the master? Periodically, you start to check. Did you remember in GitHub, we have an option called Git poll. What is Git poll? Git poll, 2 minutes once, it will go ahead and it will check the GitHub whether is there any changes. That is nothing but pull-based mechanism. But did you remember we have one more option? What is the another option? Build a trigger when there is a change, which is called Nginx server. What will happen? When there is a changes on the GitHub, automatically GitHub will send the notification to the Jenkins. Can you run my code? Which one is very efficient? Push-based mechanism or pull-based mechanism?
Push-based mechanism.
Exactly. Push-based mechanism is very stable, right? Because here GitHub will send the notification to Jenkins. Otherwise, Jenkins has to check, keep on, it has to check. Now tell me where we need the software. Whether do we need the software on the master machine or slave machine? In Ansible. To send the notification. Master, right?
Machine.
Exactly. So this is what happening. So Ansible is the agentless software, but your Puppet and Chef, it is an agent software, agent-based software. So here, what is agent? Agent is a program related to, which is running on the slave. What software is running on the slave? So if no software is running on the slave, that is push-based mechanism. When there is a software is running on the machine, that is pull-based mechanism. Are you clear with what is the difference between push-based mechanism and pull-based mechanism?
What is that? Dinesh, agent. Agent is like a program running on a
Machine. Agent is running on slave machine. Agent means a program or software is running on slave machine. When there is no agent is running on the slave machine, that is called agentless software. But when there is a software is running on the slave machine, in order to pull the changes from the master, that is called your pull-based mechanism. So software is running on the target machine. Jay, are you clear? Samvel, Saran, Aman, Yuvraj?
Yeah.
Yes, Dinesh.
Okay. Super.
Yes, sir.
Guys, can you quickly, one more question I'm asking. Suppose if you have EC2 machine is running, I want to connect my EC2 machine from the local. We need a key pair, I agree. Apart from this, what we required in order to connect my EC2 machine? What kind of protocol that we are following in order to connect my EC2 machine? SSH. SSH 22 port number
Security.
protocol we are following, right? In the same way, if you want to connect my master to slave on Jenkins, what kind of protocol we have followed? What we have done actually? How we have connected from master to slave? Same SSH, right? We have generated the SSH key. Do you remember? We have copied the SSH key from the master to slave. And we made the passwordless authentication. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. In the same way, if you want to understand how the communication is happening, from master to slave in Ansible. In case of Ansible, simple, the answer is same SSH. Secure shell protocol. It is used between the master and slave machine. When I say master means my Ansible server. Slave means my target or a remote server over the SSH protocol. Over the SSH protocol. Same like Jenkins and master slave. Guys, remember, I'm going to teach you now how this master slave architecture work in case of your Ansible. I will give you a high level overview of how the communication works in Ansible. In Ansible, we have Ansible master machine. It basically sends a command, guys. It will send some command. Or maybe we can call it as playbook. Here we have one more new term, Ansible playbook. What is playbook? Wait for a while. Anyway, I'm going to teach you. Remember, basically Ansible, we have a master machine that will send the command or maybe a playbook to the Ansible control node. There is a node called Ansible control node. It will send some command or playbook. This is the first step. And I will repeat once again, don't worry. As of now, remember. There is an Ansible master. We are going to write some command with the help of a playbook. It will be hit to Ansible control node. Now, what this Ansible control node will do, we have an Ansible control node. This Ansible control node, it will connect to each target. Many target, right? Many slave machine. One master with a multiple slave machine. It will connect to each target using which protocol? SSH protocol. It will connect each target using SSH protocol. There is a master machine and we have a many slave machine. Maybe for an example, I am the Ansible administrator. Then I have a master machine. Suppose you all five, right, have the slave machine. You have a machine. Now I want to install some software on your machine. What I need to do? I need to prepare some playbook. I have to write some piece of command. And then I have to send some request to Ansible control node. This Ansible control node will connect to all your machine, each your machine. That machine we can call it as a target machine. How this communication is happening? This communication is happening with the help of SSH protocol. Ansible SSH protocol. Suppose once this is connected, once it is connected to the slave machine or maybe a target machine, with help of, we already sent the command, right, to the control node. Now this control node will send all the command, whatever the command that I send, right, all the command to the target machine once it is connected with help of SSH protocol. With help of SSH protocol, we already connected with the control node. All the target nodes are connected. Now target node has to receive my command, right? How it is be connected? How it will be received? From the control node. Because control node already I send the necessary command. Now what the target node has to do? What target node has to do? The target node means target maybe a machine or target virtual machine. it has to execute the command. Whatever the command that I have given to install the software, or creating a user, or deleting the user, or giving the permission, the target machine execute those commands and returns. It will returns response to the controller saying that I have successfully installed all the software. Successfully, or maybe there any problem, that also it will be hit to your control node. And basically then control node, it will display the results. It will display the results whether it is success or not. This is what happening on your Ansible and with the multiple target. In the interview, people might ask you, can you explain how your Ansible architecture work? How the communication is happening from the master Ansible to the target server? There is a word called control node, remember. Basically in Ansible, that basically we can call it as a master machine. You will write some playbook and you have to send it to the control node. The control node will already be connected with the target node with help of SSH. Now the control node will send the instruction to the target machine. The target machine has to execute all the command and all the operations should be completed. It should send the response to the again control node. Now control node will process all the output and it will display the result. Am I clear, guys? What is happening? Yes, everything we'll see practically, but as of now, theoretically, architecture we will understand. Am I clear?
Yes, Dinesh.
So here we are using the SSH, guys, because I need a secure and encrypted communication, right? That's the reason we are going for, whenever if you want to connect the Linux machine, we are going for SSH protocol to connect or to have the communication between the Ansible master and target machine. So this is the use of your Ansible. Now, can you quickly confirm Ansible is a agent configuration management tool or agentless configuration management tool?
Agentless.
What is agentless refers?
There is a program running on the slave machine.
Exactly. It's a program running on the target or slave machine. Right? So if someone is asking what is Ansible, you have to tell them it is an agentless configuration management tool. So it basically uses as like a client server architecture. Client server architecture. So to automate all the management and maintenance kind of activity, everything we can able to perform. But in this Ansible, you know, we have many terminology, guys, that also you have to understand. The first terminology, which is control node or control machine. Control machine or control node. I already told you what is control machine. So the control machine is where Ansible is installed and from which Ansible command and playbooks are executed. Right? So basically, Ansible master, where you will prepare the command, or we can call it as a playbook. Here you will write all the instruction, whatever operation that you want to perform. So where your Ansible will be installed in your control machine or in control node. Here only all the command will be, all the maybe playbooks are executed. So then it will communicate with your target machine using which protocol? SSH protocol. So if someone is asking what is control machine, your answer should be, so where your Ansible is installed, where your Ansible command will be executed. So for an example, if you have a Linux laptop and if you install Ansible on it, right, then the laptop becomes control machine. If you have a Linux machine and you are trying to install the Ansible, then can I call that Linux laptop as a control machine? Yes. This is where you are going to install all the software. Are you clear what is control machine? Guys, can you quick confirm what is control machine or control node? Okay. Now, what is another word? Another word called inventory. We have a word called inventory. What is inventory? So inventory is basically one file, guys. Inventory is one of the file. Here, you know, basically you can find the list, you know, the target machine. List the target machines that Ansible will manage. Basically, in the inventory file, you can find the list of a target machine. So there is a file called inventory file. In the inventory file, whatever the machine that you guys want to connect your target machine from the control node, right? Then you have to list all those target machine IP address or maybe a DNS name, anything, private IP address or public IP address or DNS, you can list it out with help of inventory file. So inventory file, it is very simple text file. So, and it is also a dynamic inventory, guys, that is generated from a cloud provider. Basically, if you go with the AWS, Azure, or maybe a Google Cloud, it is dynamically, it will be generated, this particular file. And based on your requirement, all those public and private and DNS, whatever that is required for the target machine, if you want to communicate from the master, that will be listed on your inventory file. That will be inventory file. For an example, if you have a web application running on 10 virtual machine in the cloud, say you have one web app, say my web application, orariumtech.com, it is running on 10 virtual machine. So what you guys can do, you can create one inventory file where I can give 10 virtual machine IP address. I can give 10 virtual machine, public or private or a DNS IP address. You can restrict, you can give it over there. Thereby, that control node will connect to that particular target machine. That is called inventory file. In the layman term, I can tell like that. Are you clear with what is inventory? Yes, no? Are you clear what is the Ansible, control node and the inventory? Okay, fine. The third important terminology, it is playbook. In Ansible, we have another term which is called a playbook. What is playbook? Playbook where you are going to write a command or set of instruction that you want to perform, that you are going to define. Say, basically the playbook will be written in which file, if you ask me? There is a file called YAML. YAML is also one of the programming language, like that we can tell. So YAML is the one file. Generally, you know, nowadays, most of the company or most of the project, you know, it is based on YAML. So using the YAML, you know, we can define the playbook. We can write the YAML file, and here you can see whatever the task that you want to perform, and you will define the variables, you will define the templates, everything you can define it over there. So on target machine, you need to perform some kind of operation, right? Definitely you have to install the software, or you have to create the account, you have to delete the account, you have to manage the user, you have to add the security, something you have to perform, right, on this target machine. So all those operations, you have to write some script, right? Where you will write? You will write inside the YAML. YAML you will write. You will prepare the YAML to perform any kind of operation. That depends, you know, the desired state of the infrastructure, how the infrastructure looks like. All those things, you can give it with the help of a command, instruction, YAML file, you have to write it. That is called a playbook. Playbook, it is a command or maybe a set of instruction you basically define in order to make the desired state of the infrastructure. Say for an example, you might create a playbook that install like Apache web server. We need a web server on the virtual machine. say you in your inventory file, you have a 10 target machine, right? All those 10 target machine, you have to install Apache server or Jenkins server you have to install. But if you want to install the Jenkins server, what do you need? You need to write the command, right? Where you will write the command? That command you will write it inside the playbook. Simple term, I can tell like this. You can define the playbook, but where you need to do this kind of operation, that you can find it inside the inventory file. But how you are doing? With the help of Ansible. Where you have installed? On the control node. Am I clear, guys? What is playbook?
Yeah, Dinesh.
What is next? Aman, Saran, Yoraj. Am I clear? What is control node? What is inventory? What is playbook?
Yeah, got it, Dinesh.
Then what is next? The next is modules. I'm going to use one more term inside your Ansible, which is module. Can anyone tell me what is modules in Python? I hope modules you heard a lot from the Python, if you know Python. What is module? So anyone knows what is a module? Anyone coming from Java background? Anyone coming from Java background or any programming language background? Do you know package? What is package? Okay, no problem. See, module.
Package is the tool.
Package, that's only the tool that will
Set
perform a
of tool.
multiple kind of operation, right? Using the M package, we can install, we can maybe update the package, everything we can do, right? In the same way, modules are kind of a pre-written script, guys. Already, the Python people in the Ansible, they have already written some script in order to perform some specific task. You have to perform some specific task, right? Maybe installing the software, managing the user account, everything. You know, they already written some script with the help of your module. You just need to use that module. You just need to use that particular module. I hope you remembered, but remember, suppose, let me tell you an example, thereby you'll understand what is module. 1 minute. Suppose guys, just listen. No need to worry about the coding and all. Just listen. I have some list of things. List is equal to array list. Okay. Okay. Now. Okay. Right. Okay, listen. Now, I have created one list, guys. Here I have given the name, right? Yuvaraj, Jaya, Aman, Saranraj, and Samvel. Like that, I have given the name. But what I'm expecting, I want to sort this particular list. And my output should be, suppose, if I print this one, if I want to print this one, I'm executing this code. And I'm executing this code, I'm going to run this code. When I run this code, what is the output? Can you see? Yuvaraj, Jaya, Aman, Saran, and Samvel. But what I'm expecting, my output should be Aman, and then I need Jaya, then I need Samvel, fourth I need Saran, third Saran, fourth Samvel, fifth Yuvaraj. It means that I want to sort this one. So in order to sort this one, I'm going to write some piece of code here. I'm going to write some piece of code. I have written like this. But it will give you an error, right? So there are some piece of code I've written in order to sort this one. So if you want to write this particular code, right, you need some package. In Java, you need some package. So what I'm writing, I'm going to write import java.util.collection. Like that I have written. Now the error is gone. Mantagla. Giant code. Now the error is gone, right? Now the error is gone. Now if I execute this code, go to run as, click on Java application. When I press OK, I got right. Aman, Jaya, Samuel, and Saran, Yuvraj got sorted. Why I'm saying this one? See, when I use this particular package, when I use this particular code, already they have written the logic and all. Can you see this logic? Do you want to see that logic? Already this, I'm sorry, I'm not able to show this one, but already for this particular line, they have already written the logic. What we are doing, we are just writing this code. They are already written 100 lines of code. They are written already 100 lines of code. But what we are doing, only by writing this code, we are just sorting, right? How? Because it is called as a module. When you use the module, they have written the script already. You are just calling. That's it. You don't need to write from the scratch. Am I clear, guys? Just to take an example. Don't think like code. Don't think like package. Don't import nothing. You just remember they have already written the code. You're just calling and you can see the output. That's it. Am I okay? Yes, sir. Guys, I have an interview. Please be fast. Are you fine?
Yes, Dinesh.
Okay, so
Yes,
let me
sir.
stop it here. Tomorrow we'll continue, guys. As of now, just revise. Okay. We'll see tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.